Okay, I just thought I'd do a video on my Agfa Optima sensor and just have a quick look at it. And this one I bought a while ago and is actually broken, but it is such an ingenious camera. It doesn't function the same way other cameras do with the film. So if I turn it around the back and I pop the back open, right, so, okay, I'm see if that's in focus. What you do with the film in this one is it goes in on the right hand side, most of them going on the left hand side, and it comes across to these arrows here. You then pull the leader to there and stop it, close the back, like so, because there's not enough space in there for the actual, I don't know what the proper name is for that thing, the cog, anyway. And then you just basically wind it through and then fire off, and wind it through and fire it off. And if there is a film, if the film is loading correctly, on the bottom there is a little winder thing that shows you that it's actually going through. Now, I don't know how many of you are from the UK and of my age, but here's saying that you may know if you're from the UK and my age in the 50s. Here's one I made earlier. So this is the Optima 335 sensor, which is slightly different in the sense is this one, the other one is a 2.8 and this is a 3.5. So I think this one works. I've got a film loaded into it, and as I said about the things that are quite interesting, I'm just about to unload the film. So I'm actually going to take, what I'm going to try and do, it won't work, it'll come out out of focus. So if I turn that right round to there and try and take a shot of the camera as it is. So let's go. Didn't even see that move, did you? So I don't know if it's working at all. And then you wind on. If I actually do the wind on now, so you can actually see that, you should see that dial move around. It's probably out of focus, but there you go, that gives you an idea. And it's very much like the Olympus trip in the fact you have the 3 different settings, where you want to do portrait, 2 personal, infinite distance. But this one, I don't know about the trip, but this one actually dials backwards, so you can actually go back even further. So you can go right the way back. So see if I can get that in focus. Okay, so now I've got that in focus, you actually see it goes from 1.909 meters to 5 meters, then infinite distance. And basically you dial around, and these are the 3 prefix settings, 1, 2, between 3, so about 4 meters, and then off to infinite distance. Now, as I say, I don't know if this camera works either, but when I done a test shot earlier on, the aperture did close down, so I'm being quite hopeful. So to unwind this is another thing altogether. So if I zoom this back out a bit, okay, and what you have to do to wind back is there's a button there, and you have to push it down and spin it till it reads R. So you push it down and then spin. This is the difficult part. Okay, that's now gone on to the R position, and the way you wind it back is the same way as you wound it forward, whereas before it was pushing the actual film into a hidden compartment. You're now actually just winding it back. So now what you do is you literally just wind the film well, that doesn't sound good at all. Okay, so I had a minor malfunction. I had to go into the dark room to unload the film. The wind back started to work and then stopped working, and it kind of got stuck. So I had to go into the dark room and take the film out manually, which wasn't a problem, it's just called in this end, that's all. But this is a bit of a disappointment because it means that I may have to do that every time I load a film in this. But I think it may just be a minor fix. We'll see what happens. Anyway, on with the film developing. Okay, so the good news is the Agfa Optima sensor does actually work, and I did get some nice shots. I developed the whole film obviously, but I didn't actually scan every single photograph that I took, because some of them are duplicates anyway. But here's a selection I'm going to show you now, and just go. I wanted to have a look at the sharpness of the lens, and it's not very sharp. It's nowhere near. I don't think it's as sharp as the Olympus Trip. I don't think it's remotely as sharp as that. But the exposure is pretty much spot on, so I'm really quite pleased. I always try and do something when I'm testing a camera. I tend to try and do something with writing on, so you actually just see. It's an easier way of discerning whether it's how soft it is or not. Okay, so I'll just take a look at some of these shots, and again this one of the John Howard statue. You know what I've noticed? They've changed this. You used to click it once and a zoom arrow would come up and you could change it like that, but now I have to click every time. Anyway, that's another thing. So again, this one, the John Howard statue, you can see it's still quite soft, but you've just got to expect that of a camera of this type. And there's no really need to talk about the Fomapan. I've talked about Fomapan many times before, and you can see you've seen them as well, so that doesn't really matter. And as for this one, this is the one I took with the Olympus Trip as well, and you can see it's not as sharp as that, but when you zoom in you can see, let's have a look. Yeah, so that gives you an idea what it's actually like. I'm beginning to really like Fomapan as a film, because it is so inexpensive and it's got such a nice contrast to it and feel. For all its other things it lacks, I do like it. Okay, let's have a look at a few more. I don't know if you remember when we done the film test, the Fomapan, the 400 and 800. This is the actual same place again as when I took the mushrooms, and that's what's happened. It's all grown over now, obviously, because of the leaves in the summer and that, but the mushrooms are still there, or parts of the mushrooms anyway. And I thought I'd take a few shots through the trees of the people rowing. They come out really quite nice. Again, sharpness is not its thing, but you know, it cost me 10 quid, and it's just real fun to go out with a camera like this to play around with. Let's just show you. Obviously, this is another one I quite often do, is the ones of the statues. Again, I think it was overcast when I took these, and I set them to about 1 meter away. Let's just go through the other ones. Again, still very soft. And this one's slightly a bit sharper. Let's have a look. So let's zoom in. Well, I don't know. It looks sharper further away anyway. So, and I'll make this my last one. And this was literally obviously on the embankment under the canopy, and that one's actually not too bad at all. And that's obviously set at infinite distance when I took that shot. Getting lots of problems with dust marks on my scanning, so I need to sort that out as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little video about this camera. I had a real fun time going out taking photographs. If you like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you want me to make a video on something specific, please let me know. I'll be really interested in finding out what you want me to make. Alright, speak soon.